Hey everybody, this is Informed and Confused. I'm Alan.
And I'm Bobby.
And today we are doing the next World of Remnant on Grimm. And then we'll be doing Volume 2, Chapter 11, No Breaks. So let's go ahead and get into the Grimm video. I know this is a subject you've been wanting to talk more about.
I'm pretty excited. Although the next episode, No Breaks, I'm really hoping it's not like they're like RWBY and the gang go to the gym and just, like start pumping iron and
RWBY's going to pump you up.
Okay, I now want RWBY dubbed in with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh, you know what? Just because I'm thinking about it right now, I have to find this at some point. We have to watch this. There is a clip of animation somebody did when they did a thing where it was RWBY and Weiss reading a scene from 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, jeez.
Are they old enough to read that?
Yeah, well, no, not in the show. It was a thing Rooster
isn't.
Teeth did. It was on one of their podcasts or whatever. They had Lindsay there, and she was doing RWBY's voice. I think she was doing both RWBY and Weiss's voice because I think it was just Lindsay voicing the characters for like while they were reading an excerpt from 50 Shades of Grey. Mm-hmm. And then somebody went and did an animatic for it, just to put up there.
Because it's the internet.
And because Lindsay has a rule that she will never let RWBY swear, and 50 Shades of Grey has vulgarity in it, she changes the words into like funny shit or whatever. So it's just hilarious.
That's great.
To watch this.
I didn't know that about RWBY's character, though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, she's a 15-year-old. She's too young for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But,
or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I sure wasn't, but,
Yeah. All right, well, Grimm time.
The creatures of Grimm. A ravenous, destructive force that covers the majority of Remnant. While
Okay,
often
calm down,
referred to
Aku.
simply as Grimm in the common vernacular, these beings serve as the greatest foe to mankind. For as long as humanity can recall walking the surface of Remnant, so do they remember this wicked force. Many ancient cultures believed the creatures of Grimm to be animals possessed by evil spirits, or perhaps the spirits of tortured animals themselves. However, further study, as well as the discovery of newer, more horrific forms of Grimm, does not support this hypothesis. With new creatures discovered every day, scientists perpetually find themselves with more questions than answers. While very little is known of their origin, some key facts have been observed in the wild. First and foremost, the Grimm exclusively attack humans and their creations. While occasional skirmishes between wildlife and Grimm have occurred, these instances appear to be based on territorial provocations rather than a need for sustenance. In fact, the common belief is that the Grimm are not obligated to feed. They choose to.
Because they
What is
enjoy
perhaps
it.
even more unsettling is the basis of their attraction. The creatures of Grimm are lured towards negative emotion. In the rare instances when villages are capable of defending against a wave of Grimm, their survival is not guaranteed,
So RWBY
as
naturally has
widespread
an
panic will
upper
only
hand
lead
because
to
she
more
is
attacks. Little else is known
over
about
the
the creatures
top,
of Grimm.
like
Keeping them in
jubilant.
captivity has proven to be an understandably difficult task, as the creatures tend to either die or kill those who imprisoned them in the first place. To further complicate study, the corpse of a Grimm will only remain for a short period of time before completely evaporating. Those who hunt the beasts for sport find this particularly upsetting, but manage to get by with cheap taxidermic recreations and bombastic storytelling. Although the creatures of Grimm appear mindless, more delicate observation has proven contradictory. It has been noted that while younger Grimm tend to be more reckless, older Grimm, who have managed to survive their battles, have the tendency to learn from their experience and will exercise caution in the future. This perverse form of self-preservation allows the creatures to become more effective killers. And in the end, killing is all that matters.
All right.
A little shorter than I was expecting, but
All the
informative.
Remnant videos are short.
Yeah, they tend to be. There's a couple of them that later on that are a bit longer, but most of them are just a few minutes. But yeah,
So yeah, they seem to have really just covered. They covered a lot of what we already knew.
some of which there's a little bit of new stuff in there.
Yeah. I
Or
thought
it,
it was.
might, it might be some stuff I've dropped with.
No, not that I
early,
recall.
but-
Just like the older they get, the smarter they get.
Yep, we just got that from Ublik.
They're attracted to negative emotions. They don't
Also
need to
from
eat.
Oobleck.
That was actually that's actually a new one. We didn't know that before. The fact that they don't have to feed or whatever. It's entirely a.
Or apparently they don't have to feed. They just choose to.
They just choose to. It is simply their driving motivation. They're like certain types of zombies in that way.
Yeah.
It's not like they starve to death. They don't have enough brains.
Feeding doesn't actually do anything to them.
It's
They
just-
just do it because it's fun.
It's that is their driving impulse. It is the entire nature of their being is kill humans and destroy human things or faunus. They say humans in the video, but faunus are also included.
They're equally pissed off at the fauna.
Yes, human or faunus, either way, either or. But yeah, no. Otherwise, these faunus would have a massive, massive advantage. But yeah. So we had that. We
Yeah,
did
if
get.
that was the case, the faunus war would have gone completely differently.
Oh yeah.
Very true.
Oh yeah. We got that. The Grimm. The best history knows, the Grimm are at least as old as humanity.
They've just always been
They've
there.
always been there.
Yeah.
There is no story of the origin of the Grimm. They've just always been a thing.
Which is reflective in their culture, I would say.
Yeah, it's just that is a part of the world they live in. They don't know any other way. They kind of made the point of you didn't throw this theory around at all, but they kind of address it here. The idea that they're not actually animals or related to animals in any way. They are a totally separate.
I had always assumed that they were
Independent
an independent thing.
Yeah,
Separate from the normal animals of the world.
But yeah, because they eat food. So I assume that there are like food things out there. Who pulls their carts and or who like they show the nomadic people. They
There
depict
are
them with horses and
like,
cows.
we've seen a dog.
Yeah.
In the kingdoms, they have automakars, but
Right. So, but I mean, I
Yeah,
like I didn't.
there are horses, there are birds, there are any number of regular animals that you see every once in a while. I'm pretty sure we eventually see penguins
not that I remember. But you could
in
be correct.
a background shot. I'm not surprised you wouldn't remember it. It's in like one shot in a certain scene, but yeah. So. Just the idea that it is specifically humans and faunus, but not animals. They don't care about other animals.
Except for territorial.
Yeah, unless the animals are pissed off that Grimm are coming into their territory,
Right.
But the Grimm themselves aren't attracted to animals or.
I thought that was interesting,
after
though, because
animals.
at one point Blake opens up a door and a small swarm of them comes spilling out.
Yeah, the little Nevermore Grimm.
Yeah, if they're territorial, I was kind of surprised that they would.
Well, no, not that the Grimm are necessarily territorial, but the animals are territorial. If Grimm go into an animal's designated territory, the animal will instigate a confrontation with the Grimm because.
Oh, I thought
But they aren't drawn to animals, and
Yeah, the Grimm
I
don't give a
personally
shit.
have always thought that was because humans and faunus feel emotions differently than animals do, and the emotions that the Grimm are tracking are only capable of being produced by a sentient being.
that makes sense.
I have another set of theories on that, but that is something you and I will have to discuss later on.
Fair.
Yeah, but we talked about them choosing the feed, and I mentioned this before, the evaporating thing. There are no corpses; they evaporate.
I did not catch the fact that the all of the horns and the tusks and things are like taxidermy knockoffs.
Yeah,
That is a nice detail.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Whenever you see a Grimm trophy hanging up on somebody's wall, it's just a taxidermied fake.
I would have assumed that this day and age it would have been something like pictures. Look, I killed it. I'm taking a picture next to it in scale.
Oh, I'm sure there's a fair amount of that.
Yeah.
But sometimes you want a physical trophy as well. It's a hunter thing, I guess.
Then you let it scratch
I don't
you.
get it, but
Yeah. Also,
I'm not
scale.
a hunter.
If you have a 2-scale taxidermy knockoff of the thing, that the scale of that is going to show up a lot better than it will in a picture.
Photograph, yeah.
Necessarily, yeah. So, but all right.
Well, I would
anything
imagine
else?
they have the ability to do digital photography just with the way their scrolls work and everything else. But you never know. Maybe they're eternally on Polaroid.
We know they have holograms. We've seen holograms.
Yeah.
So
I would imagine there's a way with your scroll to just take pictures.
Yeah. Who have we seen with this so far? Port. Port strikes me as a more traditional.
He's the kind of guy that wants a physical trophy.
Yeah. Port is a very kind of traditional man's man.
He's a
kinda
very
guy.
bombastic hunter.
Yeah. But
I liked how they used his shadow when they were talking about the types of hunters who like to take trophies.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's totally his stash.
I will say they do that sometimes in the World of Remnants when there's a silhouette character on there. Pay attention to the silhouette. Sometimes they will show you the silhouette of a character you know.
It's a character relevance.
Yeah, to make a point.
Flavor text.
Making the connection so that you understand clearer.
This is the sort of person we're talking about, or this or that. But all right. Anything else on Grimm? Nope.
Oh, pardon me. No, I'm good.
All right, and let's move on to the penultimate episode.
Just in case I see a spoiler. Are we recording?
Yes.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Yeah, no, this is still the same episode, still the same video. Alrighty, here we go. All right.
There's a point where it tips, there's a point where it breaks, there's a point where it bends, and a point we just can't take anymore.
I do love this song.
There's a line up across and there's no return. There's a time and a place, no bridges left to burn anymore. We can't just wait with lives to take until they think we're ready.
I like how hers are maple leaves.
Who's
What's her name? Achilles.
Hero?
Yeah.
What the
Yeah.
disintegration stuff coming off of her is maple leaves?
It looks like maple leaves.
Maple leaves? Yeah.
Wow, you are much more manageable without that oversized gardening tool of yours.
Stab him with one of your bullets.
Oh man, you know Perry, I
Yeah,
really
Perry,
dig
that's his
this.
name.
But seriously, how'd you find this place, Red? Huh? Whoa!
I thought he shot her.
I see you got some tricks up your sleeve.
He's an angler.
Let me make this clear. We're not through here yet.
Yeah, I assume you guys got that audio cut out. Yeah.
Perry, if you and the boys could take care of that, kind of in the middle of something. What is going on here? the word. We're starting the train.
But we're not finished.
Do it, or you're finished.
I'm glad your cane straightened back out.
Ruby! Are you okay? I'm fine, but listen. Torchwick's got all sorts of weapons and robots down there. What? Androids, mechs, they're all loaded up on the train cars.
Ah, that's ridiculous. These tunnels are sealed.
It's a
The tracks
rocket
lead to a
launcher.
dead end.
Get to your places, we are leaving now!
Well, it sounds like they're going somewhere. We need backup. Let me call Sean. I can't get through. So what do we do?
I believe we only have one option.
We're stopping that train.
Huh?
I think they're on the hook.
Boss! They made it on the train!
Then grab some cargo and get them off the train. Man, animals, every one of them. Not you, though. You're great.
Elephant?
Alright, children! We must get to the front and stop this train!
Possibly some sort of
Maybe
animal.
boar.
Doctor!
Could be boar.
What's that?
That, my dear, appears to be a bomb.
We've got baddies.
Well, I didn't expect them to go... Easy on us. Time to go! Blake, detach the caboose! It'll kill us all!
On it. Huh? It decoupled itself.
What?
I guess he really doesn't want us on this train.
That's not good.
Neither is this. Another bomb?
No, no, no!
There's one per area so he can collapse the wall.
They all have
That's what they're gonna do, right? They're gonna use he's gonna periodically bomb. Parts of the train are gonna come off. They're gonna blow up to weaken the roof above to collapse the city
Doesn't make sense.
to break down the wall in Remnant. The wall that divides the abandoned section of Remnant.
It's not a wall.
Is that Deary?
Yeah, that is Deary. Wilhelm scream.
Because roses make it look like less blood spray. They're leading them all over the city.
He's leading Grimm to the city!
What?
It's the cars! They detach and explode, creating openings for the Grimm!
That's insane.
We have to hurry! You three, go below and try and stop those bombs!
What about us?
We're going to stop this train!
Yeah, I know. I said that earlier.
Up ahead! We've got a problem!
It's a flamethrower. See? Like, I will accept this if the dog has some kind of magic.
He has an aura. That's why it has an aura.
Yep. That's the only way I'll accept this. Otherwise, it is one that detracts from the show.
I guess this is what we trained for.
Here, this should help you.
An abacus? Oh. A clip of dust bullets.
Yeah. Clip of specialist dust bullets.
Hi.
Yes.
Ice cream. You scream.
This one's mine.
I'm going to go right to your hips. She's wearing too much pink. Only I can wear a coat like this. I noticed that she's not hitting her very hard. She's hitting her lightly, just debilitating her.
You go on ahead. Got it.
I want to say that there has to be some kind of like, he's got a chainsaw, you know, woodsman.
Finally, I get to kill a Schnee.
Careful, dude. She paints by number.
Hello, kitty cat. You miss me? You know, we really ought to stop meeting like this. People are gonna talk.
Oh, is that what the dust is?
Using the dust.
Ooh, well played.
Why are we fighting? I saw you at the rally. We're on the same side, and you know it.
Working with that clock flip again.
Come here, princess.
Yeah, that's instead of hitting her on the ground, you take her by the face and you introduce the back of her head to your chainsaw. Just high five her. Don't punch her. Walk up and give her a hug. While you're fighting her, pee yourself. She'll be too confused.
Still feisty. So, what are we gonna do now? Do you really think a little bow on top is gonna make people forget what you were? What you've done? So what's it gonna be, Blake?
Nice. Atta girl. that's her mom. Or at least Ruby's mom.
Or it's Sephiroth. Gender bent. That fucking sword.
I think you mean swords. Because she rotates the...
It's similar. Yeah, there's multiple
Yeah.
blades.
And it's a gun. Ruby, was that you? And then they...
You go on ahead. Don't worry, Ruby. It's time I teach them a lesson.
Go.
I might not have legs, but I'll save the world. We all lost. We had our asses kicked, but we're here to help you save the day.
What do we do?
Shoot it. Why did the two of them look so like, yeah, we got this?
Because
Weiss had this, I guess.
Fair.
Yeah.
They certainly survived the crash and the explosion.
Massive
They-
train crash. Tons of ice shards. Obscure orphanage.
I mean, the point was to stop the train. They didn't really stop the train. They survived the train, but they didn't stop it.
Sometimes surviving is all you can do.
They made a
Oh. Yeah.
they made a hole all the way to the non-dust users.
Here come all the Grimm that were following.
Yep.
Did they actually show them eating people? And there's trouble, you know who to call. And there she's like, oh no, we accidentally let all these people get hurt. We're gonna get them. Now, who are those
I
for?
really like that
I like
fan
I like
art.
to stand up. Watch.
Is this the people who voice their...
Yes,
It
you voice
is.
their
It's
characters.
the characters with
Wow, that's
with
cool.
I forget what they call it. Is not an anagram. What do you call that? Where when you flip the word over, it still says the same thing.
No, it's
Is it an anagram? I thought that was just when you reverse the letter order rather than a physical
No,
inversion
I
of
know,
the word.
I know what you're looking for. It says Rooster Teeth, no matter if you flip it upside down and backwards.
What is this? Oh, pause. I'm not ready for that yet.
Well, I am.
Wow. Yeah.
Next episode.
All right. So it was episode 11.
Correct.
I kind of like stopped taking notes during that one just because I like this. I really
We
like
are
this
getting
episode.
to a point in the
It's some
shows
damn
now
good
where
fight
it's...
scene.
Yeah, this is still one of my favorite episodes.
So in all of this, I think the craziest part is it was. I mean, they explained it pretty quickly, but the them thinking there was only one bomb, but then it's brilliant. You load up with all of your equipment, and you just let the last dozen ones drop off because they're bombs.
Yeah, and then it blows the holes.
Creates
and it'll
multiple holes
You know,
into
and-
the
Grimm.
underground and a perfect entrance for the Grimm into the city.
Yeah, and
Yep.
I thought that originally I thought they were
Kingdom.
going to be collapsing a wall because they had said how the train was supposed to help transit between the two cities.
Yeah.
So I thought that they were going to,
Well,
as they traveled.
it's more than just a wall. Because if you look in the background, there's an entire like small mountain range
Well, that's yeah.
It's
between.
more of a plug than a wall.
Yeah, it's
Well, I'm just
the idea of
using-
natural barriers. So it's like that's what Vale is basically kind of in a small pocket on the map. You can't really see it on the map they give you, but the maps get more detailed later on. Well, there's a mountain range kind of running down the middle of the continent, and Vale and its city and that are on one side, kind of between the mountains and the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So they're in this kind of protected pocket, which is how they're able to defend from all these Grimm, because the Grimm can't all. The mountains act as a natural barrier,
Mm-hmm.
and that gives the actual huntsman enough extra help, basically, to be able to deal with the stragglers that happen to cross over the mountains.
Gotcha.
Whereas Mountain Glen, which is on the other side of the mountains, is just open woods and shit all around it. There is no barrier, so when they have a flood of Grimm come in, it's
truly
just
a flood.
just a giant flood and a mess. There is no barrier. There's no man-made wall is big enough to be a serious deterrent if you get a big enough Grimm horde, and that's what happened to the Mountain Glen. But yeah, but no, yeah. So you were half there. You got that they were going to have multiple bombs and blow the holes in the thing. So you got that part figured out.
Then we pair off into all the individual fights.
Yeah. Well, one thing before we get to that, there is a new type of Grimm here.
It looks like a bipedal semi.
They're just kind of like heads with two little legs.
Yeah, they didn't really show it in
Yeah,
detail.
they don't see them in detail, but there's a whole bunch of them mixed in there.
From the top, they look kind of like armadillos, I would say.
Yeah, they really don't have. They really are just legs with heads on them. Is basically what they're called. Creeps. Creeps.
They are creepy.
Yeah. Then we had Zwei and the Zwei Ublik team up, which I always love.
Yeah.
Swooblik?
Zweeblik?
So yeah, like I had said before, it's officially canon for me to watch this, and that dog have like a semblance.
This is the moment everybody was just like, okay, that's it. Zwei is secretly the true hero of RWBY. Zwei is now officially the most badass character in the show.
Realistically, Zwei was just the effect of what Ublik did,
Yeah.
but it's so damn cool.
He jumped up in the air, curled himself into a ball to be struck like a flaming baseball.
Right.
Zwei and Ublik look at each other with a knowing look like, let's do this. Zwei jumps up, Ublik hits him with the fireball, and he goes flying. That was a team move. Zwei knew what was going on there.
I like to think Zwei's been in the family for many years.
There
might know Ublik.
Based on character interactions later on, it is a good chance that this is not the first time Zwei and Ublik have met. So the idea that they may have theoretically done this before is possible. So, in terms of is making sense as much sense as you can make out of using a dog as a flaming cannonball.
It would
there
also
are in-universe reasons why that makes sense.
More of a comet than a cannonball.
It would also make sense why when he sees when he pops out of RWBY's backpack the first time, he has that slight hesitation and then goes, "This is great," because he can't just condone you brought a stupid random dog. Oh, it's Heinz or what is it?
Zwei.
Sorry, not German.
Yeah. But what was I going to say? I lost it for a second. Crap! I had a thought and it just totally slipped my brain. I'm sorry. Yeah, no.
Next
it's gone.
you get where our main
pop
four
back
broke up into their individual fights, which are all great.
Yep. Well, RWBY goes with Ublik and they take out the other mech. Which was pretty standard until again, Zwei decides he wants to go off and fight with Ublik.
Yep.
Which is nice.
Which RWBY is more than happy to allow him to.
Go, be free, kick ass.
I thought the chainsaw sword, I thought that was going to end up being more of like a woodsman or some kind of like.
Yeah, no,
Well, if you listen to the background music, you can hear it revving while he's attacking and stuff.
Yeah.
It's totally chainsawing.
Oh yeah,
it's a chainsaw sword. That's totally.
I just thought it was going to be like a
woodsman reference. Or something like
instead they just gave a random dude a big chainsaw.
Yeah, no, he's because we've seen him before. He's the same guy who's on stage at the rally.
Yep.
Introduces Torchwick. Yeah.
Yep. The person who's wearing what looks to be a Grimm style face mask with the headdress and the really big ass sword guns.
I guess what would you call it? Multi hilt or
it
something
kind of
like
reminds me of like a cross between those pens that you could click that had all the different color ink and like the blade holsters for
you're talking
Attack
about the
on
character
Titan.
that shows up at the end of the Yang Neo fight?
Yeah, her weapon.
Yeah, that person. Their weapon is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's basically she takes the hit
You see her roll the dust cartridges until she figures out which one she wants,
and then pulls out a dust
she
blade.
draws the appropriate sword, which magically grows to Sephiroth length.
Yeah, that was an animation. They shortened the length of her blades after that.
I know, but I always loved this first image of
Where it's
Sephiroth blade.
It just doubles in. Yeah,
I thought that was awesome. I wish they'd have
blades.
kept it.
But yeah, well, it was. It's glitchy looking. It does, but
Well, and part of that is because of the program they're using,
yeah,
obviously.
Well, and they just overestimated the length of the blade, and it was like,
Yeah.
oh crap, she doesn't have enough arm length to get the blade all the way out of
yeah.
the thing. But yeah, and you had you immediately went to Yang's mom or Ruby's mom.
Yep. I'm pretty sure it's Ruby's mom.
Pretty sure it's Summer Rose.
Yeah, I think it looks like.
So you think Summer Rose isn't actually dead?
Yeah.
Okay. Why did you change your mind? You initially thought Yang's mom, and then you changed your mind.
Because she was clearly caring for Yang in some capacity, but then I remembered that Yang's mom died first.
Nope. Yang's mom is not dead. Yang's mom is missing.
Yang's mom left first.
Yeah. Yang's mom left.
She just left baby
She just
Yang
ran
with their
off.
dad
Weiss's-
and was like, fuck y'all,
yeah.
peace.
Ruby's mom is presumed dead, though they never found a body. Yang's mom
Ruby's
ran off.
mom went missing
Got
on a
you.
mission. Yang's
Yeah.
mom said, fuck y'all.
That's why. Because Ruby's mom, Ruby's biological mother, was the last mother that both girls had. That's my premise. That's why. And she's red.
Okay.
Yeah, this world seems to be very heavily color-coded.
They make a comment of how that's culturally relevant.
All right. Yeah. So we had that, and then she also, in addition to she used her blade to open some sort of portal.
Also not shocking.
Yeah. So it's a question of, is that a function? What do we think? Do we think is that the function of the blade? Is that some other device? Is that her semblance? What do we think?
I think it has something to do with dust.
Dust, like she used the dust in the blade to do something, or
Yep.
yeah.
I mean, hell, with all the combinations out there, are you saying there's not a portal dust? I'd use the shit out of portal dust. Portal dust
Dimensional
sounds
portal?
awesome.
They also made a point to say that you can combine your base elements into
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
the various
No,
different
portal
things,
dust
yeah.
is probably totally a thing. I see no reason why portal dust isn't a thing.
Well, then one would think we'd see them traveling by portal a lot more often.
Maybe it's expensive.
Yeah. But
She did seem like a badass able to get her hands on things normal people wouldn't.
yeah. And Neo, after proceeding to beat the living
Oh
shit
god,
out of
I
Yang.
love the way Neo fights.
Well, because she doesn't really, she doesn't beat up Yang.
She
That's
never.
the thing.
I noticed she
she
wasn't
never hits
hitting-
her. She never
does.
strikes her.
She does. She just
she
doesn't do it
taps her a
hard.
couple of times,
Well, no,
but she is entirely defensive.
Yeah, she never initiates an offensive move.
Yeah.
Right.
Everything she does is a reaction to Yang's own momentum and her own motion.
Right.
The only
It's
one I can
entirely
think of is when
counter-fighting.
Yang's on the ground and she jumps into a downward kick that Yang rolls away from. But that's the only offensive move I really saw during that entire
Yeah,
fight.
I mean-
She pushes her a few times. She gets a few hits on the chest.
oh, and she
Yeah.
uses her umbrella to kind of shove her
well,
away
she
a
deflects,
couple
but
of times.
it's entirely
but-
defensive. Because even when she takes Yang out, the whole spinning thing, that's a move Yang starts. Yang starts and tries to flip her, then she gets control of it and reverses it on her and throws her up against the ceiling.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Neo is one of the best fighters in the show to watch.
Especially hand to hand.
Neo's fighting style is just awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful.
And you can definitely you can see the parallels between the gender bent concept. They do a really good job of capturing.
With the
For
stylistic with
Torchwick's
Torchwick.
yeah,
gender.
They
Yeah.
capture the Torchwick essence very well.
Yeah.
Well, and she's also the perfect person to pair up with Yang because Yang is all offense all the time,
Yeah.
whereas she's all defense all the time.
Yeah, if you're trying to beat Yang, then yeah.
Improbable force meets immovable object.
Well,
or
'cause
impossible
Yang
force
is a
meets
brawler.
immovable
Yang is
object.
Yang isn't a finesse fighter.
No, she is.
No,
hit me
she
so I can
is
hit you hard.
all
When I
in
hit
for
you-
power.
Yeah.
Whereas Neo is much more the finesse fighter and more at home with the defense, which meant that they were the natural stalemate.
Yeah,
They're natural opposites of each other.
Yeah,
I would say though
exactly.
that in the end, just based off of how they were fighting, I think that Yang would lose because she tires herself out too quick.
Yeah.
Exactly.
She just goes in and assumes, I don't have to hit every punch because when I do hit a punch, it's going to do a lot of damage.
Count.
Well, when you get a situation where you can't land any punches, it doesn't matter how much power you have if you can't land the hit.
Right.
Because you're still expending the same amount of energy to throw it. You're just not actually
Yeah.
hit. Yeah.
Whereas you have the exact opposite with Weiss's fight, where she's a kind of a finesse fighter. She's quick moves and all that, whatever, and she's just up against this big burly guy with a chainsaw.
And a lot of her moves didn't really do a whole lot because she
Yeah,
couldn't hit hard enough.
she got a lot of. She's the exact opposite. She got a lot of hits in, but they didn't do a lot of
just didn't
damage.
do much.
And he didn't hit her a lot. But the minute he got his hands on her, that was it.
Oh yeah,
Because he
I
put
love that
all
move where he
his
just
energy into
grabs
one
her
hit.
face and wham!
Plants her, throws her up, and nails her with
Yup.
a chainsaw sword.
Grabs her, runs her with the chainsaw sword. I don't know why. That's
Presumably because he's enjoying himself. Because he heard what he said right at the beginning of the fight.
I'm
He
gonna enjoy
finally gets
He said,
to kill a
I finally
Shnee.
get to kill a Schnee.
this. But he didn't kill a Schnee. He had the opportunity and he squandered
Well,
it.
he
Well,
squandered.
he
He was
did.
trying to.
You got
he
the
totally
chance and you
squandered
went
it.
with torture instead. That's your shortcoming, not hers.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm just saying it. That's why he did it. I'm not
Oh,
saying
yeah.
he wasn't. He shouldn't have just taken out his opponent. That's always a smart thing
Yeah,
to do in a
he
fight.
should have. He
Never-
didn't because he was having too much fun.
Yeah. Well,
At least he did an evil monologue.
yeah.
True.
I mean, he evil quipped, but that's not the same thing. But
Good guys quip, and then they win.
yeah.
Bad guys quip, and then they monologue. And then
then
the
they
good
lose.
guys win.
Yeah. All right. And then Blake's fight, we saw her semblance in a more prominent role because she combined it with dust,
Yep.
which is another thing where it's like,
The way she uses ice it reminds me of Sub-Zero.
Little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Very similar. The way she uses all of hers, it's a very similar usage, just changed the effect.
Yeah, but that only reminds me of one move that Sub-Zero can do.
Oh, yeah.
That ice clone wall. But
thing, yeah.
the rest of them, though, I mean, it's interesting to see that it's the same exact.
It's the same move because it's just
the
her
same
semblance.
base,
Yeah.
It's
just
a fundamental
with
move,
different effects
but by
based
combining
on
with
the
the dust,
dust.
it
It
does
has a
different
side
things.
effect. Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You
Albeit-
got the explosive fire mine, you got the stone golem, you got the ice capture,
And
you
the
got the
gravity
weird. Was that gravity? Okay.
I believe if you look at that move in more detail,
there was a weird swirl thing
Yeah.
in the air for half
Well,
a
I believe
second
that-
after he hit it.
I believe what that is she's using gravity dust, and I think the idea is
it pulls.
it
towards-
pulls his weapon into it. I think if you slow down
That
and
would
look at
make
that fight,
sense.
that's what's
kind of
going
what
on.
it looked like.
Yeah.
But I'd never put that much thought into it.
Yeah, I've never actually slowed down to watch. I believe, based on what I've seen online, that is in fact what's actually happening in that move.
It would make sense with the bit I saw.
Yeah. But, yeah, and then she has their little conflict with Torchwick, where Torchwick is trying to, like, talk her into, you're a faunus, you should be on my side thing, and Blake's just not having it.
What are you going to do? I'm going to break your teeth and then save my friend.
Yep. That's
Pretty
basically what
much.
happens.
In the great words of that hard shell taco girl, why not both?
All right, then they...
And realistically, Blake was the only one of those three that actually won her fight.
Yep, nope, Blake is the only one who
Yeah.
won the fight. Well, and then RWBY and Oobleck, obviously.
Well,
That's why won their fight.
That's
But-
what I specified out of those three.
Out of those three, yeah. But by the time they all get back up there, the train is already coming up on the end of the tunnel. They don't have time to actually stop it. So
All they can do is attempt to
yeah.
survive.
We don't. Zwei and Oobleck have gone running off somewhere else on the train. We don't know what happened to them. She left Torchwick there, along with the other White Fang dude, any of the other White Fang people. We have no idea what's going on with them. They were on that train when it crashed. So it's a question, what did they survive? Did
And
they?
it crashed in kind of a boom.
Yeah, it just hit a solid wall, broke through it, moving at high speeds.
Well, and before the camera cut, there was definitely a whitish, yellow, orange explosion.
Boom. Yeah, that was a very
Boom.
explosive.
It was definitely a explosion when the train hit.
Yeah, the train engine probably, the front of the train engine probably was somewhat
And the
explosive.
leftover bombs probably didn't hurt either.
Yeah, but Yeah, they survive because Weiss puts them into a blanket of ice.
Yep.
Or an ice shell.
One of those white roses.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we end on murder and mayhem, Grimm all over the place, pouring out of the tunnel into the city.
Then, at the very end, Ruby goes from being Ruby to having her little sociopath killer look.
But she has what's going on?
She has that lock and load moment.
Yeah, lock and load determination. It's like,
Oh, they're
nope.
they're a Grimm
fuck
to
you
kill.
shit. It kind of screw this shit look
Yep.
on her face. All right. Anything else? I don't think we missed anything.
Nope. This episode was action packed and pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I still can't remember for whatever it was I was going to say about Ublik and Zwei for the life of me. I don't remember, but maybe I'll remember.
Oh,
for
when
the
you
next video.
remember at 3 o'clock this morning, don't text me with it.
All right. And I think that'll be it for this episode.
All right.
Yeah. So if you guys like what we're doing, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, bell for notifications. Find us on Twitter at InfoConfused. And you can find our podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, and here on YouTube. We are Informed the Confused. I'm Alan.
And I'm Bobby.
See you later.